right, guys, today, it's Information Civilian back at it again with another one. Today we're actually going to be talking about, I'm just having a conversation about training in your context. All right, training in your context. More specifically, isolating the training in your context. So, what do I mean by this? I actually wrote some notes for this because this is a pretty decent idea. I've been noticing the last couple times that I've went to the range that well, now that I lost everything, I had to get basically I just got a pistol now, right? And I believe that sometimes that's a lot better. I was watching John Lovell's video, collector or protector, or collector. And it got me thinking, people don't train a lot in their context. And what do I mean by this? They train in their context, but it's not isolated. So what do I mean by that? I mean that get you one pistol platform, whether it's Glock, 1911, whatever. Don't train a whole bunch of different platforms at first. I'm talking about when you first start off. Whatever you're gonna CCW, do that, practice that in your context. Now, when I say practice, I mean hammer it down, do drills on drills on drills for months. I'm talking about when you go to the range, don't shoot no rifle, don't shoot no other platform. If you CCW and Glock, you need to master Glock. So get you a holster, practice with a holster. If you have access to an outdoor range, go to an outdoor range, practice drawing, practice, pull, bang, bang, present, and make sure you're doing it at the same time. If you have a red dot, make sure you're presenting the same place every time. Working on your speed, working on your accuracy, working on your presentation, your follow through, trigger press. All of these things should be practiced before you even start moving into rifle and pistol. Now, why this is important, because if you isolate each one of the contexts that you're training in, then you'll be proficient at all, and you can combine them together and make a very proficient trained individual. So my recommendations as far as training regimen, I would say 2 months, buy at least 2 months worth of ammo for rifle and pistol. Now what you're gonna do, obviously, I recommend taking classes if you can, rifle 1, rifle 2, pistol 1, pistol 2, advanced, night vision, CQB, all of that stuff. But we're gonna start off step number one. And this is gonna be a video series where I talk about training in your context more. And it's all gonna add together and make sense all at the end. But step number one is training with your pistol. Now, what this does is it isolates and shows you where you need work at and what you're really good at, so that you can help balance that out. You want to kind of be a jack of all trades. You want to kind of be if you can, you don't want to be the fastest, the best trigger press, all of that stuff. You want to be proficient at everything about the same. And from my experience, I've seen that makes you the most proficient shooter, is being proficient at everything. You don't want to be just good at, be the fastest at trigger press, but you're not hitting stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want to have the best presentation, but it's like a 4-second presentation. You want to start isolating those skills. And what this will do is, once you start doing it slow, once you start getting those repetition and those reps in, then you'll start building in on that, coming in, boom, boom, and then before you know it, you'll be sub-second, boom, head box. So speed is not gonna be the focus. It's gonna be proficiency first. You're gonna focus on your timing and your proficiency. And slow is smooth, smooth is fast, because the speed will come with time. Now, I would say 2 to 3 months, a good training. Probably, I would say once or twice a week would be good. So that would be at least 8 or 9 range sessions, if more, more as your budget fits, going in and out of that. But I would definitely recommend doing that. I don't know why that'd be bothering me sometimes. So once you're doing that, boom, doing that, boom, doing that, boom, coming from concealment, boom. Now you can train it's like a lot of different concealed carry contexts. Most people just think concealed carry means coming from the hip, or coming from the waistline, or coming from the side, or coming from the back, drawing from the back. By the way, who carries on their back? I'm pretty interested how you like pull it up. Do you like pull with the other hand up, and then you like lean back, and then you gotta whip it out like want it? Remember these curving the bullets? Anyway, so the different contexts could be in your car, in your book bag, in like a fanny pack, in like a little chest fanny pack thing. It could even be on your ankle. If you're like a cop, I know cops that carry extra on their ankle. Or it could be, you know, obviously open concealed carry, or you can also train open carry. So you can go with the belt with the pistol on the hip. Now that has a slightly different concept, because open carry is not as common as concealed carry because obvious implications, but it's becoming more popular with the laws that are coming out that are making open carry and concealed carry constitutional, which they are constitutional. And it's almost like, I believe more than half the states are now constitutional concealed carries, which is very, very good and very interesting. I've been following the legality of different states, especially my state, Ohio. DeWine passed it. He shot it down like 3 times, but then he finally passed it when he was up for re-election, which was smart. That's the same thing I would have done. I wouldn't have denied it at first, but you know, he did that when he, you know. But working on these different contexts, you'll definitely work on, and you can work on multiple. Like let's say you know that you're going to be carrying with a book bag, and you're going to be concealed carrying on the hip, then you can practice both. I would say isolate both of those separately. Don't bring your concealed holster and your fanny pack holster to the same range trip, because that'll mess up your training. You'll get too excited and you'll start focusing too much on, you know, going back and forth. You don't want to be going back and forth. You want to isolate that training, focus in on that one skill that you want to master and that you don't want to neglect. You want to get that one skill that you know that you need work on. You want that to be at the same level as your top skill. So you want all your skills to be across the board around the same. And isolating this skill, I just see it a lot of times when I go to the range, especially people are, you know, they'd be like, oh yeah, I need to work on my trigger press for my pistol, or I need to work on my dot presentation. I'm like, I'm not finding the pistol, you know, dot, I have to fish around for it. But then when I see them training, they're training the rifle, which in comparison, the rifle is significantly easier than a pistol, because a pistol, you have less points of contact. Now what that means is it's less stable, and you have to focus in and isolate the trigger press, the grip, especially the grip strength. You have to worry about recoil control more than just absorbing it. You actually have to worry about getting it back on target if you don't have like a compensator or like a suppressor or whatever, things that mitigate recoil like that. You have to worry about actually physically fighting that recoil and getting it back on target. You really only have 2 points of contact, boom, boom. Now, let's say you got a rifle, you have 4, if not 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. And sometimes you'll even have 5 if you have like a tripod, or if you're on the ground, you'll have 6 because you'll have your bipod folded out on the ground while you're holding it. So that means you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you know. But that's coming up in a later video. We'll be talking about why rifles are easier in a separate one. But isolating your pistol skills is very important, especially with the coming struggle that we don't know when or where it's going to happen. But I want you guys to be prepared for it, for when it does happen. It is election season, so I want you guys to get prepared. But let me know if you like this video. Let me see if I left out anything in the notes. Sorry about that. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, training with, I just thought about this, training with your spare magazines is very important as well, because I don't see it enough. I see people working on their draws, right? But also drawing the extra magazine, especially like if you're concealed carrying, it could be from your pocket, not even from like an extra mag carrier. That's an important skill to isolate too, because not a lot of people actually do that. They just put 2 rounds in it and they do 1 reload ones or whatever, which that's a good drill to do. And let me know if you guys want to know some actual pistol skills that you want to see isolated at the range. I can go and do that and break that down. Probably got to do it with a rented gun now, but Let me know if y'all want to see something like that. But like I said, there's a whole bunch of skills that come into play with just retaining and keeping that pistol on target, shooting repeatable shots in the same, you know, half-inch group at 50 yards or whatever you're trying to do. Also, ammo doesn't really come into play, but barrel length does. But whatever you're concealed carrying, you know, like another thing that comes into play with that is the season. So in the winter, I can conceal carry bigger, but in the summer, I usually go a little smaller. What that means is that you got to train with multiple pistols, not really platforms with me, because mostly it was Glock, but I did have the 2011s. I don't know more, but I did have some 2011s that I was training with, and they were cool. They were nice. Really, the best thing with them was recoil mitigation. And so yeah, it was like the metal frames helped with me. Anyways, I'm getting off topic, but that is something that you have to consider, because sometimes when I'm shooting certain Glocks or certain polymer frame handguns, whatever, I absorb the recoil so much in my hand that my wrist actually starts to hurt. Like, not my wrist, but like this part, and then a little bit of my wrist, just from that constant boom, 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 boom. It's like straight jarring. Like, I don't know how to really explain it. I know I can see it in slow-mo. It's actually like flipping up and I'm returning it back to zero. But anyways, let me know if you guys want a further breakdown of this. But this is part 1, training your context just for concealed carry. And part 2 is going to be range reps. We'll talk about that, break that down a little bit more, adding some more kit. And then part 3 will be rifle and pistol. Part 4 will be advanced, bringing everything together and why this is all important. And we'll talk about real world applications and stuff like that. But make sure y'all training in y'all context. Make sure you're training in general. But let me know what y'all want to see in the next video. Comment down below, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Stay tuned for more. This has been Informational Civilian. Oh my God. All right, peace.